It's time for you to create a content calendar you can actually keep up with. In today's video, I'm going to share 5 tips so that you feel so much more confident maintaining a realistic content calendar all month long. Hey y'all, I'm Kat, biz coach and integrator for creatives, helping you make dreams and dailies happen. We have been talking a lot about content planning around here for the last few weeks, and that's because I want you to feel very confident in your content calendar as you continue moving forward in 2022. I've also got a brand new content planning bundle available in my shop, so if you're struggling with content planning, if you're looking for some extra tips, templates, resources, ways to actually make it happen week in and week out, you need to go and check it out. But today, what I want to do is tell you 5 simple and easy tips for making sure that your content plan can actually happen week after week. First things first, your plan needs to be realistic. Y'all, I cannot stress this enough. I have worked with so many creative entrepreneurs that come to me that want to create a consistent content calendar, but maybe you have way too many ideas for what that needs to look like. Maybe you've been told you need to show up on YouTube twice a week, or you need to be posting 3 times a week on Reels, or blogging is dead, so you shouldn't even worry about it. And how often do you need to be emailing? And like all of these things are circling around in your head, and it can feel really overwhelming to figure out what that plan needs to look like. I want you to get rid of the noise and to think about what is realistic for you. Last week in our episode, we talked specifically about reusing content. And I showed you an example of how with just 2 core pieces of content a month, you can have content going out every single day, which means over 30 pieces of content can be going out every single month. We talked about that in last week's video, so go take a look if you haven't yet. But what I want you to think about right now is what feels realistic for you. Is an every other week core content good for you? Is it something that you want to be doing once a month? Is it something that you want to be doing once a week? What is good for you? Now, I do want to suggest that at the minimum, it's twice a month. I do think that every other week, having brand new content for your audience is going to be the most helpful in the long term. But again, be realistic with what is on your plate and what you can and cannot do. Next up, you want to make sure that you have a workflow for your content. You will not be able to consistently create content if you do not have a system in place. I use Trello for my workflow system, and you can see, let's just take a look at one card here. I have got everything that I need and my team needs all written down on this card. Everything right here. So we can see our workflows of everything that we need to be doing for every single video to be able to go live on YouTube. And then not only do we talk about the video on the workflow, but it also talks about the blog, the pin graphics, the Instagram story, the reel. Again, it's all right here in this workflow. And this is actually a template that's included in that content planning bundle I talked to you guys about earlier. If you're a solopreneur, and you're watching this and you're thinking, Kat, like I don't have a team, so I don't need like a fancy little checklist. I want to encourage you to have a checklist. Checklist is like a simpler way of saying workflow. I feel like sometimes we hear the word workflow and we immediately think, uh-oh, that sounds way too intense. Like I'm not going to follow anything like that. Just think about it like a checklist. Just write down the steps that it takes for you to publish that blog or produce that podcast or get that reel created and scheduled. What are you doing? It will help you as a solopreneur to have a list so that you can keep up with all of the things on your plate so that you can remember, did you get that blog pinned? Did you get that YouTube video filmed? Like it's all written down somewhere else besides your head. And then it can also help you when you get to a point where you could potentially outsource. And that's the third tip, is starting to delegate. I cannot stress enough the importance of delegation. If you're not at a point financially where you're ready to bring on help, whether that's a blog writer or a VA to help with some of this scheduling, scheduling, again, having that system in place will help you be able to manage the realistic schedule that you've put together. I am able right now to put out as much content as I put out on a regular basis because I delegate, because it's not all on me, because I know the tasks that I need to do, and then I can pass it off, and my team is awesome and they can get their tasks done too. Again, if you're not at that point where delegation is possible, I want you to consider thinking about that realistic plan and having those systems in place so that it feels like you're slowly able to start delegating. The next tip I want to share with you guys in order to really make sure that the content that you want to happen is happening on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, is to batch create. I love batching. I'm a huge fan of batching. And basically what batching means is putting all of the tasks that are similar together. So for example, for me with YouTube, I have one day a month and I sit down and I film all of YouTube. It's actually like a full YouTube day for me where I literally make it an all-day event on my Google Calendar. I block it off. I don't have any appointments. And I sit down in the morning and I film all of the YouTube videos. And then that afternoon, I batch the rest of my own workflow, like what I'm responsible for, creating the thumbnails, writing the emails, making sure I'm doing any additional copy that might be needed and getting things mobilized so my team has them. So that way, one day a month, I've got it all done and I don't have to sit down and stress out about it every single week. I have found that if I know on Monday that the newsletter for Thursday isn't written yet, the chance of me writing it is incredibly slim. I need to have batched it for the whole month, just so that I have the peace of mind of knowing that that content is already done and created. So think about what can you start to batch. Again, if you're a solopreneur and you're not able to delegate this out, can you create batch times on your calendar where you say, okay, this afternoon is an Instagram scheduling time, and you're gonna schedule out stories and posts and reels for yourself so that you feel like the next few weeks you've got a solid game plan. Can you have a blog writing afternoon where you're going to write out those 2 blogs a month that you've decided to create? Can you have an email writing batch time? Just think about the marketing that you're doing, and can you batch that work so that you're able to really get in the zone, really get that content done, and then not have to worry about it the rest of the month. And the last tip I have for you guys in order to really stay consistent with the content that you're doing is to make sure that you actually love the content that you're creating. I want you to make it fun. If you don't think you're gonna like doing YouTube videos, then you probably shouldn't try YouTube videos. YouTube is new for me. I'm just now getting started on this platform, and I wanted to see, do I like creating videos? Do I want to do this? Is this fun for me? So far it is, so I'm going to keep going. But I want you to give yourself that permission slip of what feels fun for you. Do you like creating TikToks and Reels? Then do more of that. Do you love showing your face on stories and really connecting with your people in that way? Then do more of that. So choose the platforms that are really fun for you, and make sure that the content that you're sharing is content that you enjoy talking about. Yes, you want to be strategic. You want to create content that your audience wants you to create. But you also want to make sure that you love the content you're creating. So maybe you also want to be able to talk about like mom life and personal content. Pepper that in throughout some of the business strategy that you're talking about. Do things that are joy-filled and fun for you, and it won't feel like work when you're having to sit down and do it. All right, y'all, I hope this was helpful as you are thinking about creating content in your business. And again, I really want you guys to feel confident and motivated and empowered to have a consistent content calendar that you can actually keep up with. If you have other questions, drop them in the comments. And don't forget, my new content planning bundle is now available in the shop. So take a look at the templates and the masterclass that are included within that bundle. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.